Another thing about Man United, I want to ask you about football-wise. Man United pulling out. I want to go to Egal on this. Man United pulling out of the Harry Kane situation. What do you make of that? They're not going to put a bid in. They're not going to waste any time trying to buy him. Correct decision from him. And what do you make of Harry Kane not forcing this move?
I personally think it's just Daniel Levy's difficult to deal with. And anyone who comes to the table just quickly realizes that this guy's illogical, somewhat delusional prices that he puts on players, and he's just unrealistic to work with on a footballing level. So I don't put it down to Manchester United. I put it down more to Tottenham and putting a ridiculous price tag to Harry Kane at the age that he's at. And I question Harry Kane's ambition as a player. If he wants to stay at Tottenham for the rest of his career, if he signs another contract at Tottenham, where does he want to go? Does he want to be remembered as the guy who the greatest to never win? Is that what he wants to be known as? Because even going to Manchester United will at least secure you some domestic trophies, and potentially, if they get the Qatari takeover, you could be one of the faces of that club. But hey, he wants to rot away at Tottenham. I put it down to Daniel Levy, and I question Harry Kane's ambition, Terry.
I agree. Brandon, you must say something, bro. Go on.
I'm sorry, Harry Kane's a loser. Plain as simple as that. At the end of the day, right? Why would you want to stay at Tottenham with the mess that they're in now? I know they've got a new.
He wants to be a Tottenham legend. That's what he wants.
A Tottenham
Daniel,
legend.
that's
what
Brandon's
does that
right.
mean?
That's
It
a bit
means
unfair to
nothing,
say
right?
though. That's a bit unfair to say though, because it's not Kane saying he wants to stay. It's Levy, like Gal just said, being the paid. That's why they pulled out.
Okay, but let me get to my point, right? Has Harry Kane handed in a transfer request? No. Have made any form of like kicking up a fuss or anything like that to leave Tottenham? No. So that tells me everything that I need to know. You know, like it looks like he's going to remain at Tottenham. We all know that Daniel Levy's difficult to deal with, and you know if you're that set on leaving, then unfortunately you have to grow some balls and hand in a transfer request, and that's how it works at Tottenham. But you know, if he remains at Tottenham, then again, I agree with Miguel. You have to question this guy and his mentality, and you know because they're in a rebuild, they're not going to be back at the top anytime soon. And by that time, you know this guy's going to be ending his career. So I have to question Harry Kane and his mentality as a player.
And you want to know something? Manchester United gets a pass because we know Tottenham are terrible at doing deals with, and we know Harry Kane has turned down and moved to Man City. So it's not like it's the first rodeo we've seen. So you guys get a pass on this one.
You see me? I think if Harry Kane signs a new deal, then yeah, I agree completely with both of you two in terms of questioning his mentality. I can question his mentality 5 years ago when he signed a 6-year deal, whatever it might have been at the time, and you can say, why did you do that at the time? But what we've seen since then is that he has tried to leave Spurs. When Man City put in a bid of near enough 120 million there or thereabouts, he went on strike, wasn't there for pre-season, didn't turn up to training until the season I think started, and then he joined up with the squad when he realized Man City were not going to reach, I think it was the 150 million price tag that Levy had on his head. Now, if Man United this summer said, we are putting in, or, you know, we guaranteed Harry Kane, we are going to put in a bid like Man City did, we're going to put in a substantial bid for you this summer, maybe he'll do the same thing. But he knows that even when that happens, like he did a couple of years ago, there's no guarantee that Levy's still going to sell until his price tag is met. So for me, I can't question Harry Kane's mentality as it stands this summer for Levy not accepting a reasonable bid. I can only really question it if he decides to sign a new contract. You have to say, well, you have real no ambition. But I think it's on Levy for me. Levy's holding all the cards. And
I think from Man United's point of view, we're doing the right thing. Let's step away. Let's look at other options.
Oh, 100%.
I think we're looking at this Højlund, who, look, he's good for now, could be brilliant in the future. Let's wait and see what happens, though, should our takeover go through. They're saying Man United have only got about 125 million available this summer. They said we only had 100 million last summer. And I think if the takeover goes through, remember, they pay the debt off, which gives us £50 million extra. That's what we pay each year in debt. There'll be no dividends being taken, so that's another 25 to 35 million pound in the club. and they can pump £100 million of their own money into transfers instantly. So you're looking, before a player is even sold, at nearly 200 million additional if they take us over. So let's just take the fee that the media have said is right, 125 million. Add nearly 200 million more to that if the Qataris get us, plus what we sell. If that takeover happens, it could be anywhere as high as 400 million to spend. Then we can. Then I think Man United might go back in for him. But I think we're right to waste no time on it now. Move on to other targets. Get that done and dusted, because we are going to get onto this more when we talk Chelsea in a bit. But the league doesn't start for 2 months. But in 3 weeks' time, our clubs will start their preseason training. Preseason games start in under a month for a lot of our clubs. So business needs to start happening soon, because all our managers are going to want the best starts possible. And I think that's right for us to focus on that moving forward. But yeah, look, it's a real difficult one with Harry Kane. But I agree with you, Neeks. If he signs a new deal at Tottenham, I'm going to stop calling him good. I'm going to ignore his actual quality as a footballer and just focus on his mentality and call him a loser. Because staying there, imagine staying at Tottenham your whole career, never winning a trophy, never touching silverware, never having a medal. You saw what it meant to West Ham when they won. You saw the way, I know City have won loads of trophies recently, but what it meant for them to win a treble as an example. But West Ham were key. Look what it meant to them. Anyone that thinks top 4 qualification or goals, anyone that thinks just goals matter. Do you know what I mean? If you went and asked Antonio now, would you want 100, 200 more goals in your career or that medal? He's picking that medal. I can guarantee you. The only people that ever defend the lack of winning medals are Spurs fans and people arguing for Gerrard in the Scholes-Gerrard debate. They're the only 2 sets of people ever that make that argument in football. So yeah, for me, I agree with you guys on that. We have a few super chats saying, imagine Levy still holding Kane hostage, is what Emmanuel Drip says. That's true. Chris says, Kane will regret his career. I don't want Havertz. and we'll get onto Havertz a little bit later. Harold here says, I just want debt cleared and competent running of the club. We don't need extra money if well run. Kane has earned the right to choose. Yeah, I don't think he's choosing, though, but we'll see what happens and see what he does, my friend. Huge news this year says the Glazers collectively now favour Qatari over Sir Jim Ratcliffe. It's game over as his minority stake strategy doesn't give them an advantage. Sky have tried to debunk this against Reuters, and I'm telling you all now, I'm trusting Reuters over Sky Sports News on a business matter every single day of the week. King Cantona says it's simple. The Glazers are seeing the NBA franchise being sold for double the valuation. There's they are something similar. Not saying that's right, but that's in their mindset. Well, there is always the possibility that the Premier League continues to grow in valuation, therefore clubs do. But at the same time, sometimes you just remember they paid the Glazers have spent no money buying the club, so for them, every billion's an extra billion that they're gonna own. Not trying to hear media spin by Sir. Okay, we'll come back to this one a little bit later about the Havertz deal when it makes more sense. Worry about our targets, especially in midfield. None seem drastically to improve the technical level of the squad and what's happened with the outgoings. I assume you're talking about Man United. We'll get on to one, Caicedo, in a few moments that Manchester United are linked with. And outgoings seems to be where they were already. It's going to take a few deals to kickstart this transfer window, but great super chat